All right, good people of Cherokee County, what's going on? The Matt and Todd Show. We have a bonus show, I guess you would say, here. We've got to bring in Coach Crane here, and we're just going to just shoot the breeze with him for a few minutes. We're glad that y'all stopped by to spend a few minutes with us. I'll let everybody kind of get on the page, and we'll cut the music and put it up neutral, and we'll have fun. Let's bring on the man of the hour. Coach Crane, head football coach of Cedar Bluffs Tigers. How are you this evening, sir?
And wonderful. It's bath time here at my house, so I've been kind of kicked out and out here in the car right now, trying to get this thing rolling.
I understand. When you got little ones, I've been there, and that's just kind of things we have to do. So how is the little ones? How's everybody doing at your place?
Man, wonderful. Said right now, we're learning potty training. We think it's fun to ask people if they want to fight. Just it's a mess. We're almost 2 years old, and we're running around, sleeping when we can, and basically just living life to the fullest.
Well, I guess we could just. Oh yeah, there's something happened. Yeah, you're the head football coach now. What about that?
I know it's been real
Is it
anxious.
kind of surreal? I guess. I mean, is it still kind of not kind of hit you yet, or?
I mean, it's one of those things that I've kind of thought about and kind of aspirations and dreams for years.
Sure.
I've told others, and I really do believe that God's timing is perfect. It was my time. It was my time to kind of to lead this group and lead this community from a revision standpoint. So God's timing is perfect, and He sees it fit. It's my time.
Yeah, you know, uh, for anybody that's watching, maybe especially on YouTube, there's YouTube people on here. Let me go over here and look because that we have people on from Georgia and Kentucky and Tennessee, Florida, and they may not know what's going on here. So Coach Crane he was a graduate of Cedar Bluff School in 2010. I thought it was 10. Okay, so 2010, he graduated school. He goes to college and decides he wants to be a math teacher, which a lot of accreditation to you for that because a lot of math teachers don't teach. They wind up in some kind of science field or some kind of space field making a lot of money.
Or an engineer, something like that, yeah.
Making a lot more money than they do teaching. So condolences on that. Coach Crane played football there at Cedar Bluff. I remember watching him play. I remember sitting with his mom up there in the stands, and I remember my son being in kindergarten camp and him working with my son at football camp. Him and you and Jim, I guess, and Coach Tabbitt when Marcus was in kindergarten. So, and here you are. I guess a long time coming. I don't think anybody has to try to sell you on you or who you are and what you do. I've congratulated you for it and what you meant to my son. You was tough, but I told you this: him coming to you, if he could play for me, he could play for anybody. But you were always fair with the kids, and I think that's what they always appreciate about you, probably the most. And the care for the program of being a Tiger. I mean, you know what it's like to put on the red and white. You know what it's like to be in the playoffs and to make those runs, and what it's like to be disciplined and to have character and those type of things that the standard is there that you went by under Coach McWhorter and Coach McDaniel. And here they are, principals and assistants, and that's kind of strange too how it's all kind of worked out. So I guess it's kind of real for Coach Mack too and Coach Torrey. It's kind of like, hey, look at here. How about this?
It's kind of wild how it all came kind of full circle there, and kind of all of our dreams and aspirations are, and how they kind of fall and lay out this way. When you go from different relationships of student to teacher, then you go into coaching together. Now you go into the admin role on that side, and it really is just absolutely incredible, and that they see fit for me to be a part of not only our school but to lead a program of this magnitude is just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, Cedar Bluff is, and for some watching it don't maybe know, my dad played ball there, went to school there. My mom, I went to school there and stuff and played stuff, and And of course, I mentioned my son earlier. He played for Coach Crane and Coach Mike Daniel, Coach McQuarter, and Coach Jim. Jim helped Marcus with his linebacker stuff. He got put duties of linebacker his senior year, and Jim and Jonathan both did a. They really did a good job with him because I had no idea he could even. I could
Huge
get.
there.
They did, and y'all did a good job, and so kind of working through some of that. It's not going to be a lot different, I guess. I mean, you're still the guy on the sideline with a headset, getting fired up and getting on the kids and celebrating with them to, calling plays and those kind of things. So what's going to kind of be, I guess, what's going to be the difference, I guess, for somebody that's next to you saying, hey, here's a young new head coach and hey, I'm an assistant and one day when I'm going to be head, what can I expect?
The football side is always going to be the football side. That's what we talk with a lot of people about, or the baseball, the softball, whatever your sport is. The game is still the game. The big stuff is the stuff you don't see. The stuff you see, it goes into a week of preparation. What is your core values as a team, as a school, as an organization? How do you implement those things? How do you get a culture to come together, or your coaching staff to buy into those same things? Those are the things that really interest me. But getting to a Friday night, getting to the side, that's the reward. That's the easy part. Getting there to a Friday night and the coaching side at practice, but it's the preparation, everything that goes into it, and then getting everyone to buy into that vision is the stuff that a lot of people don't see. Or maybe it's the many hats that we wear of we're janitor. We're doctor, we're nurse, we're strength and conditioning coach. Maybe we lay carpet and tile for a day. I mean, whatever that is, I said we wear a lot of hats and a lot of roles. Those are some things that people a lot of times don't see.
Yeah, those are the things that some people. I got some guys that watch from Florida, and they're into big football places down there. And the things that kind of blew their mind was when I had an example of helping Jim take flooring, out of the boys' locker room down there when it flooded that time. And, we all just kind of pitch in, and that's how it is, kind of at a small school. And Cedar Bluff is definitely that kind of small school. So, your coaches are at your football coach is at your baseball game, or your baseball coach is at your basketball game. And that's what kind of keeps that community thing kind of going. And especially for what we are, right there in that small area, and you live, just right on the outskirts of town.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of, it's just kind of how everything's kind of knitted together. And you can see the kids and the things that you're trying to sell them. It's not like at a big,
No.
5, 6, 7A school where you don't ever see them. But when you're telling them these things and these values that you want them to be good men, because that's number one. I know that's what Coach Mack always taught, and you along played under that, and you followed along with that as my son and his friends played for you. So I know there will be no different kind of things there. And I know I can't ask you a question like, well, how's the offense going to look this year, and that kind of stuff, because you don't know. I mean, you know your players and you know who you got coming back, but you're getting a little different headset now, and now
Mm-hmm.
you're just not the one calling it. You're kind of facilitating to everybody else and making sure that everybody's got the same book. That we all are on the same. We're all on page 3 right now, and here's where we're starting right at the top of the page. And we're all going to read together. And I think that's what you're in mind to do, because that's the kind of guy you are.
Yeah, so looking forward to that and getting everybody together under the same umbrella or mesh together, however you want to say that, and blend that. But for us all to be instilled with the same things from the top of our program to the bottom, understanding what it takes to the definition of what Tigers is. It's one thing that's always been a thing at Cedar Bluff, but understanding that, hey, that's toughness, integrity, being a great teammate, the effort that comes along with that responsibility, and then lastly, service. What those things are, to be able to define them, from our managers to the people that are playing, to the kindergartner in the hallway. I don't know what those words necessarily mean yet, but maybe they can point out and show you a picture of it, to where that's the things that they know and understand that's all that they know and believe when they think about the red and white of Cedar Bluff.
Yeah, I think it's going way back in time, like back in the 80s too. Example one, Miss Dean, well, Miss Scott, but Todd's mom, being the teacher at the school, I remember, being second, third grade, Miss Clifton, Scott's mom. Scott coached there for a while. I remember their moms, being teachers. I remember them wearing red dresses on Friday. I remember them having ribbons on their dresses. I remember them putting banners all down the hall. And I remember guys, like Tim Grace or some of those older guys like that, that wore the jerseys, or Kurt Tucker's or Scott Wright, for that matter. I helped work with him some during the week. I wanted to play football. When I'd go to break and you seen those guys in the break room, you wanted to be a Tiger, and I hope that, that these younger kids, that you can, put an outreach on there and let them know that it is something that's been accomplished, that they can do it. And because I believe, and I know you do too, that's where it starts. And as getting through elementary school and getting them excited to play football. And I know times are different now. And we played football in the 80s when we got home from school, and I got in trouble for tearing my pants up, being down the corner at the lady's house, playing football. And but with the junior high program, I'll start with that maybe. Where do you see junior high wise of getting that playbook? The same thing. We know Coach Smith, which started there my senior year, went on to do great things. And that's what he has implemented. You have a son over there. And Coach Benefield, that's what they do. Seems like all the success, you can read it down the line. It starts with the junior high of getting those playbooks the same. It just becomes the same thing. So how can you start to inherit some of that junior high stuff to bring them up to be Tigers and learn the things that Tigers stand for?
Yeah, said a lot of that, of course, junior high starts there. But if you can reach them before then, you can get with these young youth coaches and your middle school programs and stuff before then. I mean, there's a lot of these successful programs are starting at then. That is invested in those coaches and those players at that point, building that relationship with them, and then letting that you kind of reap it there at that point, and then at the end, of course, you get to sow it and see the results. But yeah, I said our junior high coaches are phenomenal. So I was absolutely thrilled. So we had not a full spring training with them, but so we got evaluation days in within the last 2 weeks, and dang excited for that current 6th, 7th grade group. Said I got almost a week with them. As soon as I got done with softball, was out there the next day with them. Said really, really eager to kind of evaluate this summer. So we didn't have a spring training, so we'll get that extra week there in the fall. But excited to see who shows up June 6th, ready to go.
Yeah, I've seen. I would come by and visit you guys, last year, and sometimes the junior high would get out there really quick. Some of the guys, y'all would be coming in just a few minutes behind them or whatever, and Jim would have them all out there. So I got to watch them some, and I know some of them, and I know some of the parents stuff. There's going to be there's some good players. You got those 8th, 9th grade classes. I know some of those kids. So there's definitely some talent there. We got a lot of comments on here. I've been putting them up there. I don't know if you've seen all of them. Well,
I see them right there flashing, so I smile those things come across.
Sylvia, Jeff Anderson, all congratulations. Coach O'Brien, proud of you. Look forward to playing y'all. Aaron McKenzie, he's the guy that works with us. He's over from Valley Head.
Played a lot of softball with Aaron.
Yes. Benton Burge, congratulations. D'Angelo Hardy, congratulations. And Brett wants to know about players. Kind of what I kind of asked you that a while ago, but that is hard to answer. Like, who you got coming back, but how is the expectations for the upcoming season? I can answer that right now. The expectations would be to win the Blue Map. First off, win the first game. Mm-hmm. I think that's a coach. That's the Coach Mack answer. That's your that's kind of your answer too. But you can tell us about some of the guys you have coming back this year. Tell us about some of your players coming back.
Yeah, said excited for the senior class. So we have 4 or 5 there. They've all had big roles, whether it's up front, they're from a quarterback position are there at receiver. So big things from them, and it trickles down next to our keep wanting to call them sophomore, but they're pretty much officially juniors now at sophomore group. They're going to be juniors, so they had huge roles last year, and are no longer looked at as an underclassman. So they're now going to be our juniors and hold even more major roles than what they had last year, and then step in from there. So the freshmen coming to be sophomores. Try to say constantly that not necessarily leadership hasn't aged. I know it. People think it does, and it's kind of it's your senior class. Yeah, the Doug sample is going to make a difference. But what about that junior, that sophomore, one's behind? And leadership comes in a lot of various ways, and all the way through our group. Maybe it's not the vocal guy, but of course, I think kind of the same way. Everyone's not the vocal guy. Maybe it's the guy that shows up every day. Maybe it's the one that gets the extra lift in, and maybe because he's getting that extra lift, there's 3 more guys that start to show up with him. That stuff's contagious. And I think our kids they really do. They bought into that. This offseason in the spring has been very, very good in the weight room for us. I got to max a few of them yesterday. So I've seen some really big gains from this group, and really, really dang excited to hit it hard again. But all the way through our whole program, really, things that we're going to talk about is being above the line and below the line. It's hard to label someone as a starter and stuff from there. If you're above the line, you're ready to go. So there's a role for everyone, but being above the line, you're ready to step in, play, whatever your role may be. Below the line, okay, what can I do to get to that point to where, hey, whatever my role is, what capacity can I give to this group and this team in order to go forward?
Yeah, that's something I remember, hearing mine talk about that, how you guys pass that along to not always you kind of got to strip yourself of being self and to be selfless and just to know where can I fit in? His last year example, I bring up again, he never expected to be linebacker his senior year. It's just, but hey, look, this is what we need you to do. And I said, well, you just go work at it. And
Sure enough,
it's very hard to bring away ego from young people, to take your ego away and be selfless and just be a tiger and know what it's like to sell out and to be part of something that's bigger than you.
Mm-hmm.
One example I'll give you, he was in a class and they were working on a computer board, and there was like 3 or 4 other guys, and he brought this up to me, and I've used it to other players that I've talked to. He said, you know what football really taught me? That I'm not always right. And to listen to other people at the table that they were doing a project. So that's just one example of things that football can bring to you. So I know that's what y'all are going to try to do.
I know
And
that's an
working
old
out, of
cliche
course,
though.
getting in the weight room, being prepared for your first opponent. So player wise, we know who left. We're losing from Cade and Dylan and Bucky. All the kids that we're losing up front wise. I know Chambers will be back. He'll be your center again, I guess. Marcus got moved from center, at one time. So sometimes you just have to, you don't know. So tell us about some of the other guys up front, some other linemen that'll be back this year.
Yeah, it's kind of the same way you're talking about. So I know he returns, Jacob returns as a starter at center, but at the same capacity though, kind of like you said about Marcus, based on a fluid role, based on it gives us the best 5 linemen into what puzzle that's created. If someone's able to step in there at center, maybe he works better at guard. Regardless, he can fit in any 5. He commands the line. Then he's able to identify anything. He can make an adjustment. I wouldn't say on the fly, but things we practiced and implemented, he can make an adjustment in a heartbeat. And he's one of those guys that he's a vision guy, can write it up, draw it, and go from there. From there as well, Malachi Jelks, Jaden Flint. I said Isaac Roberts Geary. He stepped in there at the end of the year and did a tremendous job. Hudson stepped in the same way. There's some guys that you're talking about as freshmen or going to be freshmen that's played extremely valuable minutes, playoff reps, and for that matter, for games at the end of the season that determine if you get in the playoffs. So they've been in a high-stakes situation from a line standpoint, and going to work a little hard to develop that little nasty streak that they got, keep it between the whistles, but I want to be miserable for people line up in front of us.
Yeah. And this as well as I do. I mean, you coached him on the line first years, he was there, and that's where you win and lose a game. It's win and loss. You could have the greatest skill guys in the world back there, quarterback or tailbacks. If you can't get the ball to them or they have nowhere to run, it's kind of just a moot point. So, when you skill guys, coming in, I know you got Hunter Stallings, you got Hunter Jenkins be back, and
Coach Cedar, real good guys at receiver spread around. Eli McBride, Jordan Taylor, Byron Kinsey. They're all returning guys. Caden Pack played a little spot and stuff well. I mean, he'll have a role at quarterback or as a receiver, DB. Hunter's kind
I remember him punting the ball. Caden punted the ball some in some later games, and I thought, wow, he did great. I mean, he just kind of filled in where he needed to go. He just was kind of doing everything. May catch the ball, may throw it, may kick it. So, I look forward to him being
over there and punt. I mean, like I said, he's a dang athlete. It's what we preach about being an athlete and doing those type of things. He could long snap if he needed to. If he wasn't the punter, he'd probably long snapping. So, I mean, but everything.
Yeah. And Mac Fry and, of course, Beatty. They're young guys. They're coming on. They work out. I see them working out and, running and stuff. And so there's some familiar faces, coming back. And but what some people don't know is being a 1A school is if you get one guy out, really you got two because usually they play both ways.
Oh, yeah. Said even yesterday, said two of us kind of talking about there, Alex, Carter Dillingham, and Hunter Jenkins and Jacob Chambers. I mean, in a max day yesterday, I mean, they absolutely killed it. And said that's what you talked about is kind of the beauty of 1A over any matter, really, with kind of the numbers. Whenever you have these type of numbers, is that it's sparing to come off the field. Like if you can come off for special team for a couple of breathers, or if you're 1.5 in terms of, hey, maybe you're not a two-way player, but you play 1.5 of those reps when it's goal line, maybe it's your time. But to play as many kids as possible at this level is to an advantage. The more that can see the field and has a role and a responsibility and can give reps to anyone. And we could go two platoon. I mean, I feel like we'd have a chance to win a lot of dang ball games from the sake of being fresh.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about region games just a little bit, and I'll let you get off here and get back in there to the family. I know you've had a busy day. I'm sure your phone has blowed up sideways and forwards and back. I know there's over 1,000 shares and comments on that post I put up just since about 3 or 4 o'clock. So region wise, Coach Christian, Coach O'Brien, he's been on, may still be watching. They're gonna be back. They're going to have just as probably good a squad as they had, or maybe better. Appalachian. I don't think, that year that Marcus and Corey and them played, and you coached that game. You and Tori went up there. Coach Mack was out. They had a lot of freshman guys that year. Well, guess what? They're all seniors this year. I don't think they lost about one guy up there last year. They're
not many.
Somebody's going to overlook them. That ain't close to 1 or 2A football in that region. Appalachian is going to be really good. And of course, Coach Hammond, I went up there and watched them. They're big. They're physical up front. They got a good coaching staff. They've been there a while. The kids are believing. They're rocking and rolling. They're lifting weights. But head's going to be right in there too.
Oh, it's a dang good region from top to bottom. It really is an extremely competitive region. You can see that. I mean, you're talking about leading up there with Appalachia. I mean, dang, they just turned around and won a 1A state title in baseball. It's the same kids about to flip over and roll with football. They know what winning's about. And the same way, you got defending champions there and Coosa Christian that very well should have been playing for a state championship last year. So they've done a phenomenal job there at that program. They're just going to keep getting better the same way.
Yes, Teddy and Alaric and Mark have I brag on them because we know what it was, the program. It was the team you played for homecoming, and he's not nobody shies away from that. I mean, I don't remember them hardly winning a game every season, but to turn around and be in a state playoff game, they were in the semifinals.
Easily been playing for a state title. Easily, if that last part of the game went that way.
Off a bad call. In my opinion, what's a bad call? But but yeah, this whole region. So you guys are going to have your work cut out for you, and I know you're going to hit the ground running because it's nothing new. I mean, it's not. What's good about all this? It's not strange. It's not like you're going to another school. You're still going to be there at the same time. You're still going to be the same Coach Crane for summer workouts. You're going to be down there getting on their butts, making sure they're doing everything right. So, it's going to be the Friday night nights. The Friday night lights are not new to you. That's kind of what I wanted to add, in that post. And it's just going to be a little bit different.
It'll be a little different, but it's an exciting different. One we're anxious for and eager to get going. Said everything that happens on a Friday night light from that side, from Friday nights, are built here in the off season. This summer is going to be extremely vital. Not only being there, but being counted on when we are there and doing what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, and it does. It starts in the summer and working out and just because, every day that you're not working out, somebody else is. That's what I always used to feed mine. That was my excuse to get on them. Hey, look, the day that you skip, that's the day they're working out. So you can decide what you want to do and who you want to be, but we can't decide that for you. And if I'm going to be out here and I'm going to play or I'm going to coach you, you might as well win. And there's not a second place winner. You either win or lose. And that's the thing also that football, just sports in general, are good at, that losing. Sometimes you lose, but that don't mean you're a loser. It means you just lost the game. And good sportsmanship. And those are things that Coach Mack always carried through, and Coach Beckett did, to be good sports. And you've been a part of that tree. You've been there forever and ever. I mean, you're a Tiger, and we're all proud for you, and we're pulling for you. And I'll be around, this summer. I think June 6th or so is when a lot of guys are going to be shorts and helmets, maybe in workouts or whatever.
We get it cranked up on the 6th.
Yeah.
So give them a week here. So we got graduation Friday night. They get a week off. I'm going to take a little time there, family as well. But we're going to be itching ready to go come June 6th.
Yeah. And also July the 15th, I've got everything locked in for the media day. This will be our third annual media day that we'll be having over at Easy Street, just like we always do. I'll work out time slots and I'll be getting them out to you guys. But we got a long time, but I've got it set up pretty early. So that way everybody can plan, because we got to have everybody there. I've emailed Jeff Allen again from WQSB for them to be there. And, of course, Shannon and Mr. Roy, all our local people is going to be there. So, which I make as big as a deal we can, because it's not about me or Todd. I'm just the one with a mouth that just kind of tries to talk to everybody, put together and give it to you coaches and kids, and just let y'all go up there and talk about your schools. And we always look forward to that, and it's fun to come over and have a burger. Everybody watching, guys, y'all mark it on your calendar. July 15th. It'll start about noon. You don't want to miss it this year. We'll see Coach Crane again over there. Another media opportunity for them to people come see and talk to the guys and see the guys. And so I know let's see what's going on here. Well, I think the Celtics and the Heat's playing. They're fixing to tip right now in just a few minutes. So I know everybody's going to go watch that. You probably want to watch it too.
It's a good one. It's a good time of the year right now for anything championship wise.
What about the Nuggets just sweeping the Lakers?
Made it look easy, didn't they?
They did. I thought they would win it. I didn't think they'd sweep them.
I think it would go that easy. I thought both teams had a complete team. I didn't know if maybe the Lakers kind of used everything they had right there in that Warrior series. I don't know, or is that just a credit to how well Denver's freaking playing?
They just kind of they just tuckered out, it looked like. Lakers just kind of got tired. We'll bring this up before we get off here. I seen one of your friends had posted on there that he knew you was going to be a good head coach because you were a fantastic play caller on EA Sports. So, with that being said, next year, Coach, it's coming back, and I know what I will be doing. I'll be on the Xbox, and I'm going to plug it in online, and I'm going to get on there and play some. And
NCAA?
We'll link up and play. Next year, NCAA football is going to be
it. Been a long time coming since that series stopped.
10 years.
I was a young man in college, and it broke my heart and broke my spirit when that series ended.
Yeah, I know. I played it a lot. I really enjoyed it, and they're supposed to be having, name, image, likeness, and of course, we all know that's what started all this. It was kind of probably about your age group guys that were in college playing football saying, hey, that looks like me. I mean, if we could have my name on the jersey and, can I get a little bit of that and not have to like eat ramen tonight, in my dorm room? And that's kind of what started this whole darn thing. It really is. It was a video game.
I know it. So they kind of took away from everyone. I guess I understand their feeling stuff for it, but at the same time, man, they're putting you in a game. You're getting to play it with your buddies and stuff like that in your dorm rooms and in your apartment. Everything from that side, I mean, I understand the lightness and that side of it and stuff too. But said it's been a long time coming for that one.
I know. I'm ready for that one too. Hey, again, thank you I know it's been a wild day, and he actually has just got home, grabbed something to eat, and jumps out in the car because wife's got washing stuff going on in the house and didn't want him in the house right then. So he's been a good dad. And hey, you already know the time commitments that it takes. You already know all that. You've been doing it for a long time. So, we can't wait to see the season kick off, and the game for Cedar Bluff will be you'll start off the season at Wintersboro, correct?
At Winterboro, we're going to play on that Thursday night on the 24th.
And by the way, people, if y'all don't know, they look pretty good. Coach Short was on with us Sunday night, and I had seen some of the scores and what Wintersboro had going on. And I know Coach Beckett had been down there sometime and kind of spun things up and got them, going that direction sort of. They look pretty good. They had some big guys up front. So,
man, they're big. They're athletic. Saw a little bit on them there in the spring. Returning a very, very good tailback. And he'll flip over and play on defense as well. It'll always be a dang good athletic ball club. And in the beginning of the year, they're always going to be excited and it's going to be fresh for them.
What is that, about an hour drive?
Yes. It's a good little ride. Said we're excited and eager to go on there and maybe get a little scouting done on that Friday afterwards.
Yeah, that'll be it'd be a good opportunity for the young guys. You're gonna have a lot of young players to maybe get ready to make road trips. Because when playoff time comes, that's what you'll be riding up and down the road and getting involved in playing some of those teams. Let me go back through these just before we get off. Everybody, thanks, Coach. Looking forward to seeing you this season. Brett Taylor. And Gary, congratulations, Coach. Surround yourself with good people, and you'll do great. Yep, that's always a good thing. That's what made Saban great, and Kirby and all them. You be a pretty good coach, but Saban always says he wants his assistants to be smarter than him.
Yeah, if you got somebody in the room smarter than you, said it helps the room in general, but it makes you look a lot better at the end of the day too. I really felt like, from a softball standpoint, I really felt. That the coaching staff that we had, I'd put it up against anyone in the state for what we got day to day out of those girls. That I really believe I surrounded myself with three great ones, and I'm excited for them as well for what their future holds.
Yeah, Miss Mandy's has been over there, and then you got Mackenzie and Coach McGinnis. It's kind of weird calling her Coach McGinnis, but they're just the biggest part of that steam, moving that engine just as you are too, and you always give them credit. For their help and along with that. And it's been exciting, seeing you just kind of, your personality being out there and who you are has just kind of, uprighted that ship and just kind of took off and the propels is just going. And it's been enjoyable seeing you coach the girls and kind of bringing some spirit back, into Cedar Bluff softball. Very competitive for years and years and three-peat area champs and making all kind of runs at state. And, now I know you're not going to be able to do that anymore because you're already going to have enough on your plate with this. I know it's kind of bittersweet, and I know you had mentioned some of that when you spoke with Shannon about, you having to step away from that doing this, but Lord's timing is always perfect, and it's not like you're going anywhere. You're still going to be at the school, and you're still going to get to see the girls and cheer them on and support them, and I know that's the guy you are.
Yeah, that's what I told him. I said I got to kind of echo that same thing to him this morning, and want to tell him that in person, and said for him to understand that it is very bittersweet, like you're saying, because of where the program is. But I said I know there's no doubts though that the wheel is going to keep rolling. Said excited to see what the future holds for that program and for all of our programs, but specifically for the relationship that was created with those girls.
Yeah, getting all the coaches linked up across the board: baseball, basketball, football, softball, and when everybody's on the same page, and you get your junior highs working the same plan with your varsity, it just kind of that's just the recipe, man. I mean, I've seen it working. You know too, and that's the recipe, and it's just getting all of it together. When you get all the right things together, and you make that perfect cake, like the one you get for your birthday when you're little, and you just so nice you didn't even want to cut it. That's the goal that you're looking to set, and I know that's what you're going to do.
I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate y'all for the support, and more importantly, for what y'all do for the kids of this community.
I enjoy doing it. I love the boys all over the county. I've coached them somewhere or taught them church class or make them try to feel important. That's always been the goal. We do a lot of college football mostly, but I'm always going to give scores and come to games and talk about kids. And we love doing our player of the week and making a kid feel, making them feel important, that somebody is watching them and that there's somebody out there talking about them that does have, thousands of people watching them, on Sunday. So it's our pleasure. We appreciate it. Thank you again for your time. And before we get off, Coach, what do they say at Cedar Bluff?
Go Big Red.
All right, so go Big Red. Thank you, Coach.
Thank y'all.
All right. A quick little spot there. Do a little 30-minute bit with Coach Crane at Cedar Bluff. We're excited for him, and I know he'll do well. He was a good kid in school. He's generally a good guy, and he knows what the intangibles are and those things of having a good character and all the things that he was there as an assistant with Coach McWhorter and being serviceable in your community. The guys, they would go out and pick up garbage and wouldn't even really tell nobody. It was always, just being a good person, doing the right thing when nobody's looking and those kind of things, and being tough and having integrity and striving to be great every day. Those are the things that Coach Crane, I know, like he said, they're going to go on to do. So their season will kick off over at Wintersboro, and everybody's going to kind of take the week off and let things kind of lay around and kick back as the teachers enjoy their time of being off from school. And like you said, June 6th, be shorts and helmets and that kind of stuff. And we'll be out. We'll be around this summer doing some reels and get some pictures from all over the county. And won't be long. Football's coming, man. And we appreciate everybody. Don't forget, July 15th will be a media day over here at Easy Street. Come over, hang out, and have a burger, and celebrate with us, the great coaches and kids we have here. And don't forget, Sunday nights at 6 o'clock, you can catch us live, me and Diamond Dean here. We'll have more college talk for you. Got lots of stuff to talk about this week, probably some ACC stuff, maybe North Carolina and Louisville. Maybe get in there and break them down a little bit. So y'all come by Sunday night. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. If you like listening on podcasts, I'll post this on the podcast, iHeartRadios, and Apple Podcast and Spotify. We thank you guys for coming by and hanging out with me for a little while. And we get to talk to Coach Crane. So y'all have a good rest of the evening, and God bless and be well. And we'll see y'all back Sunday night.